Hello friends, welcome to UGPG Mathematics. In this video, we are going to discuss some questions from HCU 2019 MSc Maths Entrance Exam. So let us start. The first question is, the question is there on your screen. If P is a statement such that G is cyclic group and Q is a statement that this order of G is prime, then we have four options: P implies Q and Q implies P. Then Q implies P and P does not imply Q. P and Q are equivalent and none of the above. So here we have, suppose we have a group of prime order, then it is always cyclic. That means Q implies P is always true. Why? Because suppose this cardinality of G is say P, where this P is a prime. Now take any element A belongs to G which is not equal to identity, right? So if we choose this element from G, then look at the subgroup generated by A. So all of us know that whenever we take this generated by some element, this is always a subgroup of G. So by Lagrange theorem, this order of this subgroup must divide the order of the group G, right? So this means order of this subgroup generated by A must divide P. So what are the choices for this order of subgroup generated by A? It is just 1 or P, right? Because P is a prime, so only divisors of P is just 1 or P. Now here this gives us this subgroup is, if that subgroup is of order 1, then this implies this subgroup generated by A is just the identity subgroup, right? But so then this implies this A is just equal to identity, but we have taken this A as it is not equal to identity. So this 1 is not possible choice for this order of the subgroup generated by A, and hence we have this order of this subgroup is just equal to P, right? Now what is P? P is just nothing but order of the group, right? So we have this subgroup generated by A is a subgroup of G and they have same order. So that means G must be equal to subgroup generated by the element A, right? So from this we have A is a generator for the group G, right? And hence G has generator and therefore G is cyclic. So remember this, whenever we have prime order, then that G must be a cyclic group, right? So Q implies P is true. Whereas suppose we take some cyclic group, then it need not be of prime order, right? So this doesn't imply, so G is cyclic group doesn't imply order of G is prime. Why? Because take this G to be Zn, right? And all of us know that this group is a cyclic group, right, for any n. But if we take in particular that n to be not prime, suppose we take Z4, then this is a cyclic group, but order of this group is 4, which is not prime. Hence this P implies Q is not necessarily true, need not be true. So Q implies P is true and P does not imply Q. So this option number B is the correct option. Now let us solve the next question. The total number of divisors of the number 7777. So whenever we want to find out divisors of some number, then first thing is that we must take the prime factorization of the given number. So suppose we have any number, say n, then take its prime factorization to be say p1 raised to alpha 1, p2 raised to alpha 2, and so on, pk raised to alpha k. Then the number of positive divisors of this number n is just given by, take alpha 1 plus 1, so this product alpha 2 plus, and so on, alpha k plus 1. That means just take the power, add 1 to it and take this product, right? So here let us first write the prime factorization for the number 7777. So we have n is equal to this number and write this as 7 into 1 1, right? So 7 1 0 1 11, right? So this is the prime factorization for this number. Now what are the powers of this? This is just 1 1 1, right? So number of divisors is just equal to, now we have only 3 primes, right? So this is just take this 1, add 1 to it, then take product, the second power is 1, add 1 to it, then third power is 1, add 1 to it. So just take this product. So this is 2 into 2 into 2, which is 2 cube, so which is 8, right? So the number of divisors of this number is just 8. So A option is the correct option. Now let us solve the next question. We have given a function fx is equal to sine of 1 by x, and this function is defined on open 0 comma 1 closed 1. So now look at this function. The options are, this is unbounded function, then non-differentiable function, this is a function with simple discontinuity, and this is a function which does not have limit at 0, right? These are the all options. Now here just note that this domain is just x not 0, right? So whenever we have x is not 0, this function 1 by x is differentiable function, right? Because this constant function 1 is differentiable, x is a polynomial which is differentiable, and by the rules of differentiation we have quotient of two differentiable functions is also differentiable whenever the denominator is not 0. Here x is not 0, so 1 by x is differentiable. So, and this is just sine of 1 by x, fx is just equal to sine 1 by x, which is a composition of this differentiable function and with sine, and sine is a differentiable function, so composition of two differentiable function is also a differentiable function. So this fx is a differentiable function for this domain, right, on open 0 closed 1. So look at the options now. Option number B is not true. Then just note that whenever we have sine of something, that means sine of y is bounded, which is less equal 1 for all y belongs to R. Just note this. That means sine is a bounded function. So here it is just 1 by x. So sine of 1 by x is also a bounded function. So this option A is also not true, because option A is just, it is unbounded function, which is not true. Third option is saying that this is a function with simple discontinuity, right? But here we have just seen that this is differentiable function, sorry, this is differentiable function, right? So every differentiable function is continuous function, right? So this is continuous function, so there is no question about discontinuity. So this C option is also not true. And just look at the fourth option, this must be true. So fourth option is saying that this function does not have limit at x is equal to 0. So here this limit is just, we have open 0 close 1, right? So whenever we are talking about limit at 0, this means we just have to take this limit, right hand limit, right? Because the domain of this function fx does not contain this point 0, right? We have to prove that this limit does not exist at x equal to 0, right? So how to do this? So limit exists means that limit must be unique along every path, right? So suppose we take the path, say xn is equal to 1 by 2n pi. Then xn converges to 0 as n tends to infinity, right? Now look at this function along this path xn. So this becomes sine of 1 by xn, right? That means f of xn is equal to this. So this is just equal to sine of, this is 1 upon xn, which is 2n pi, right? Now sine of 2n pi is just 0 for all n, right? So f of xn here converges to 0, right? Now if you take yn to be another path, which is equal to 1 by 4n plus 1 times pi by 2, then this limit of this function along this path yn is, so let us first find out what is f of yn. So this is just equal to sine of 1 upon yn. So 1 upon yn is just 4n plus 1 times pi by 2, right? Now this 4n plus 1 times pi by 2 of this sine is just equal to 1. So we have f of yn converges to 1 because it is a constant sequence 1. It takes 1 for all values of n. So this converges to 1. Now we have two different paths, right? xn and yn. So along these different paths we must have unique limit. But here this f of xn converges to 0 and along yn this converges to 1. These are clearly two different numbers, and therefore the limit of this function at x equal to 0 does not exist. So the D option is the correct option. I hope you like this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Please like, share and subscribe if you find this useful. Thank you.